Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. It's the backup channel backing Celeb up and bringing you all the breaking news. Hey yo, remember back in the day when you used to be talking to somebody and they used to try to get mad deep with it? And they'd be like, listen, if you could talk to anybody dead or alive, who would it be? And what would you ask them when you talk to them? And you would sit there thinking and you try to get all deep with your answer. Well, now you don't have to do that because they have actually created an app which allows you to talk to dead historical figures. The app, which is actually called Historical Figures, was created by a 25-year-old Amazon engineer, and it uses AI technology to allow you to text back and forth with historical figures like Adolf Hitler, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, and Jesus, as well as like 20,000 other dead people. Okay, so now it sounds crazy, but people are actually using this app, and they've posted some of the conversations that they're having with people like Biggie and Tupac on social media so you can see what these dudes are talking about now. For example, one person's chat showed Biggie giving Tupac his props. When AI Biggie was asked about Pac, he said, quote, "It's been a few years since his passing, and I miss him every day, but he lives on through his music," end quote. Now, when AI Biggie was asked if he still had love for Pac despite their rivalry, AI Biggie said, quote, "Pac was one of the hardest working guys in the rap game. He put out classics like Changes and Dear Mama that will never be forgotten. We had similar upbringing, so I always felt a kinship with him and strived to do my best in honor of him. That's real talk," end quote. Now, this is where it gets interesting because when AI Biggie was asked about Kanye West and the White Lives Matter t-shirts, AI Biggie said, quote, "I don't agree with the message behind those t-shirts. We need to be promoting love and understanding between people, not division," end quote. And when AI Biggie was asked, "Who shot ya?" AI Biggie said, quote, "Unfortunately, I never found out who shot me. To this day, it remains unsolved," end quote. Listen, I think this is a very interesting app, and I think that it can do more harm than good, because I was like, you know what? Let me test this app out myself, because these people are just not asking the right questions. So I went on and I started texting with Christopher Columbus, and I was like, listen, why did you kill off mad people? And you know what Christopher Columbus told me? Christopher Columbus said, quote, "I never killed anyone off. In fact, during my travels to the New World, I preached a message of peace and respect among all cultures," end quote. And there you have it. You see how when you ask the right questions, you actually get the answer to what you're actually looking for? Because this app is a hot mess and it's trying to whitewash history. And the craziest thing is that these people are trying to introduce this thing into the schools so they could screw up our kids too. Because this thing is not just reciting history, this thing is making up information on the fly. Do you understand that when somebody asked Heinrich Himmler about the Holocaust, my man apologized for what he did? Listen, there's no way to know what a dead person thinks, and we don't need to be talking with dead people anyway. We don't need to have our kids texting back and forth with Heinrich Himmler and like Adolf Hitler. That's crazy. But you see what they do? They reel you in with the Biggie and the Tupac, but then they subtly introduce information that is inaccurate so that they can propagate their own agenda. I'm telling you, you better watch out for these apps. Hey yo, on to the next story. This week, young Scooter put NORE on blast for allegedly instigating beef between Future, Drake, and 21Savage, because while NORE was guest hosting on The Breakfast Club, NORE alluded to the fact that Future was upset with the fact that Drake and 21Savage made an album together. While on the air with DJ Envy and Charlamagne the God, NORE said, quote, "I heard there's a big rumor that Future's not too happy with this Drake and 21Savage album, and it makes Drake's and Future's album not as important, I would say. This is allegedly, this is all rumors. I never heard this from Future's mouth, never heard this from Drake, never heard this from 21, but it's an alleged big rumor that's going on right now," end quote. Well, after the show aired, young Scooter jumped on Instagram and accused NORE of hating on his longtime collaborator and friend. Young Scooter wrote, quote, "I heard NORE got eggplant emoji in his ASS. Just what I heard. Stop hating for views, boy," end quote. Oh geez, listen, sometimes these dudes be going way too hard over nothing, because who cares if one dude did a record with the other dude and then the other dude doesn't like it? It's no big deal, and in my opinion, young Scooter did not have to go as far as to say that NORE is taking the eggplant, but that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also, do you think that NORE just be hating on people just to get some likes? Let me know what you think about that too. Now, check it out. Fat Joe is not happy. And you know why he's not happy? He's not happy because a whole bunch of people be going to concerts, and then while they're at the concert, they don't do nothing but stare at their cell phones. Fat Joe said, quote, "If you go to a show and you pull your camera out and you're recording, you're not really in the moment. You're recording what's going on. You're not enjoying it. If you know how to, live in the moment." End quote. Fat Joe went on to say, quote, "Put some fire signs if you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, you're lost, because social media got ninjas lost." End quote. In response to Fat Joe's comment, one person came through and wrote, quote, "Yeah, I never understood it either. You're not recording anything that hasn't already been recorded by 1,000 other people there. Just enjoy the experience." End quote. Another person came through and wrote, quote, "It's also a drag for those who can't see the performance because everyone else is standing with phones over their heads for the entire concert and they can't for health reasons. I won't pay for another concert unless I can afford front seats, and that may never happen." End quote. Hey yo, is Fat Joe right? When you pay to go to a concert and then you get to the concert and you spend your whole time at the concert recording the concert on your little phone, do you actually miss out on the concert? And for all of you people who go to the concerts and you don't have your phone out, do the people with the phones out get on your last nerve? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now peep this. On Thursday, Radar Online reported that Jennifer Hudson and Common got a little something going on. The report said that, quote, "A person close to the situation has confirmed that the Dreamgirls actor has secretly been dating the 50-year-old rapper. The two have reportedly known each other for years, but they got closer on the set of their new film, Breathe." End quote. Now, according to the insider who spilled the tea, the two got hot and heavy over the summer while they were filming this film in Philadelphia. Now check it, the insider also said, quote, "When the day shoot wrapped, they'd always find their way to each other's side. They've kept up their communication since shooting a movie. They get together whenever their schedules allow. Of course, he's known as a total flirt, but Jennifer feels there's no harm in that because she's having fun." End quote. Look, I'm just totally confused right now and I'm shaking my head because I thought that Jennifer Hudson was dating the Wayans brother. Remember when she was doing a movie with him and then she started dating him and now she's hooking up with Common? I'm just so confused. And why would you want to hook up with Common? Like, Common is trying to bang every black chick in Hollywood. Oh my goodness. Let me get my composure. All right, I got it. Now check it out. Recently, rapper Fredo Bang had a baby with a married lesbian couple. And you gotta understand, Fredo has been pretty hush-hush about this entire situation. However, recently he went on Vlad TV and he did disclose a little something. When Vlad asked Fredo if the kid was conceived through in vitro fertilization or if they did it the old-fashioned way, Fredo said, quote, "For one, I'm a gentleman. I'm not the type to disclose if I'm penetrating or navigating or what happens in my bedroom. You feel me? If any woman that I done been with feel like telling what happens in my bed, that's up to them. I feel like it's corny if I was to say if I'm penetrating or not." End quote. During the interview, Fredo also spoke about the child that the two women had by IVF before he even got in the picture. And Fredo said he considers that child to be his own. Fredo said, quote, "He my child too, being that that's his brother." End quote. Fredo also went on to say that his 2-for-1 baby mamas are helping him become a better man. Fredo said, quote, "I feel like over the years, especially after jail and stuff, I done built up a natural wall to not really care about anything, or I always block so much stuff out. I feel like they helping me break down my wall, and even like my insecurities and self-esteem, a lot of people don't know. I got bad self-esteem problems. They helping me into an element that I've never been in before, and I'm more confident in myself." End quote. Yo, this is a whole lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of parents. Let me know what you think about what Fredo's got going on over there in the comments. Ayo, this week Remy Ma's husband, Papoose, announced his new executive role as head of hip-hop at TuneCore, and since making the announcement, he's also been making the rounds on social media. During a quick stop on the AMP platform, Pap got into a debate with Joe Budden over what was some of the hardest lyrics ever spit in hip-hop, and Papoose vehemently declared that Kool G Rap's 1995 track, Take 'Em to War, contained the toughest set of bars he ever heard. Pap said, quote, Kool G Rap wrote the hardest verse I ever heard in my life to this day. It was on Take 'Em to War. I never heard a harder verse in my entire life to this day. To this day, hardest verse ever, and I'll argue anybody down. They can spit what they think is hard, and I'll spit that ish word for word. End quote. Yo, I'm throwing this out there to all my true old school hip hop heads. Is Papoose right? Did Kool G Rap drop the hardest verse ever? Or is Papoose wildin' out right now? If you think Papoose is wildin' out, let me know who you think dropped the hardest verse ever on a hip hop song. Now get this, Rick Ross has come out and he said he's setting a new criteria for ballin', because he said he was at the club the other night, and while he was out there, some dude rolled up to the club on a horse. Now, when Rick Ross saw this dude pull up to the club with some real horsepower, he couldn't do nothing but pull out his cell phone so he could share what real next level flexing looks like with his fans. Rick Ross said, quote, you ain't ballin', you ain't said nothing to Rose till you come to the club on a horse, end quote. After saying that, Rick Ross found out that the horse's name was Soul, and Rick Ross said, quote, her name is Soul. She's a Rolls Royce on roll, end quote. Oh my goodness, now that Rick Ross has said it, all of these dudes out here are gonna start showing up to clubs on horses, and all the chicks are gonna be standing outside talking about, hey. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.